Welcome to St. John the Baptist Episcopal Church Online Faith Formation. Today I will be reading Mary Hoffman's book, Three Wise Women. Pictures by Lynn Russell. In the west, the sky was bright with stars as a young woman stayed up late baking bread. As she waited for the dough to rise, she went to the door and combed her hair, singing a song about the moonlight. Suddenly she stopped. Far away in the east there was a new star, brighter than all the rest. It was so bright that it bathed the woman's kitchen in starshine. The beams from the star shone right onto the dough. The woman stared in disbelief. The dough was rising as if filled with starlight. She was afraid to touch it at first, but it was quite firm and ready to be baked, so she cooked it in the oven. As soon as it is ready, she said to herself, I shall take the star bread and travel east. I must find where the great light is coming from. Way down in the south, where countries are hotter, another woman sat up late at night, rocking her child. He was cutting a tooth and could not sleep. His mother hummed to him and loved him with words that no one else could understand. Shall Mama get you the moon, sweet baby, she crooned, taking her child out into the night to find a breeze. I could cut you a slice like a piece of mango to cool your poor mouth. The young child stretched his fat little arms up to the moon, and his mother laughed. Then they saw a strange sight, a bright new star rising in the northeast. Starlight shone on the child's face, making him smile. His mother watched in silence, her heart filled with desire to leave her village and follow the bright star. Far away in the southeast, an old woman was telling stories to her grandchildren by the dying light of a cooking fire. Their mothers sat resting for the first time that day, while the old woman spoke of tigers and monkeys and temples and snakes and lotus flowers. But gradually the story began to change, and suddenly there was a star in it. Just like that star up there in the northwest, said the old woman. Then what happened, Grandma? The children prompted her, for she had stopped in mid-story and was gazing at the star till it filled her mind. And all the children hushed and gazed with her, forgetting the story that they had been listening to and wanting a new one full of silver starlight. What was it about that star? There was something different about it that drew all three women from their homelands, and something the same that said to each of them, Follow me. They met on a path of starlight, not knowing how long or far they had traveled. They were not hungry or thirsty or tired, so each supposed her journey had been short. They found themselves on a dusty road at midnight, where the sky was a deep dark blue and the moon a fingernail of mother of pearl. Each woman looked toward her own bright star that seemed to stand still over a huddle of houses. The end of our journey, said the grandmother. Let me carry your baby for a while, said the young woman to the mother. And they all walked together through the hills, past sleeping shepherds, down to the town. The star stayed where it was, growing ever bigger and brighter. It threw down great white spears of starlight onto a small white building with a thatched roof. The young woman started when she saw people coming out of the building and gave the baby back to his mother. They all watched as men in fine robes and their servants mounted on camels and rode away. "Others have followed the star before us," said the mother. Suddenly all three women were afraid. "We have come so far," said the young woman. "We must go inside." They ducked their heads under the low door beam and looked in. It was just a stable with horses and donkeys, but it was also a home for a new family, a man and a woman, and a newborn child, all bathed in starlight, so that the golden straw was silver. And yet there was gold, a whole heap of it by the baby's makeshift crib, and other rich presents too, but nothing was as rich or as bright as the glow surrounding the baby. "Come in," said the new mother, and the women entered quietly. Their hearts were full. They too wanted to give presents. They told the baby's mother how they had left their homes drawn by the star, with no more than the bundles they carried. They had traveled by star path and moonlight, hardly knowing how they got there. The young woman took the loaf of star bread from her bundle. It was still warm and smelled fresh. She gave it to the baby's mother, and although he was too young to eat it, the baby touched the loaf as if to bless it. The grandmother said, "I have nothing in my bundle to give the child, but I would like to tell him a story." Then the three women sat in the straw with the new family, and the grandmother told a story full of starlight and hope. All this time the mother from the south held her sleeping baby, and her heart was pounding, for he was all she had to give. Although she was filled with a strange new love for the baby in the crib, her own child was as dear to her as life itself. When the story ended, her child awoke. Right away, he saw the baby and held out his arms to him. The two mothers held their sons, and the child gave the baby a kiss full of starlight. His mother sighed and held her child tight. There had been a present after all. The three wise women left the stable and walked the paths the star had made to lead them home. When they got back to their villages, no one noticed that they had been away, and no one remembered the star. But the star baby in the stable never forgot the women and their three presents. When he grew up, he showed that fresh-baked loaves taste even better when they are shared. He told the most wonderful stories to anyone who would listen, and the man whose birth had been marked by a new star taught the whole world that the greatest gift of all is love. I wonder what part of this story you like best. I wonder what part of this story is most important. I wonder what part of this story is about you. Thanks for joining me. Peace be with you.